Hi, friends. Crystal here, your Vibrant BF, and we are covering the chakra system. And we are starting with numero uno, the first chakra, which is also known as the root chakra. In Sanskrit, it is Muladhara. It represents the color red. It is our survival. It is our body. It is the beginning. It is the foundation for the entire system. Now, I have my big, beautiful whiteboard here with all the information that I want to share. It's a lot of how the chakra system, and remember, last week we covered the chakra system, meaning wheel or disc in Sanskrit, how they are spinning the energy, the vehicles of our human body carries us through this life's journey, essentially helping us to live in our magic. Now we're going to talk about the correlation of the chakras and the nervous system and the beautiful dance they have within our lives and understanding how to have them work together for our highest timeline. Now, I'm checking my microphone to make sure it's on. I'm making sure I'm looking at my big board. So let's dive in. Root chakra, survival, the beginning, the body, the foundation, is associated with the planet Earth and Saturn. Now, when we think about Earth, I want you to think about earthly things, the tangible, the solid, money. It is the beginning. So we're talking about our home within self, and having our needs met, our basic needs, food, clothing, shelter type needs. That is the root chakra. It's associated with the sense smell. And I thought it was so ironic because back in the day when babies were born, they didn't always have their eyes open. Some didn't have their eyes open for days or even a week. And they were always able to smell their mother's milk. See, the beginning. Like, even if I can't see, I need to find my nourishment to survive. Survival, the roots. It's also associated with the sound lam. It represents cedar, which cedar I thought was really interesting. It is used because of the durability. It's also decay resistant. It treats respiratory issues, inflammation, skin diseases like rashes and eczema. For aromatherapy, it's very calming and grounding. The rights of the root chakra is I have and or to be. So when we think of I have, that's more of an acquired skill. Think of the law of expectations, like you're expecting it to be done. So going back to the baby, going back to like pregnancy, a mother has a baby, right? And she's expecting to give birth to that baby, but there is a gestational period that has to take place. So the next right is to be. So we are human beings, not human doings. So we must be the body. We must be home. We must create this safety for us to thrive and have our numero uno chakra wheel spinning in our highest alignment. It's associated with Archangel Ariel, which is also associated with the element of earth, wisdom, and enlightenment. I think enlightenment is very key because as we move up the chakras, the top chakra is the crown chakra, which another word is enlightenment. So I think it's very ironic that it's the top and the bottom. And we'll just see how there's so many synchronicities in this life. It also has the animals of elephant, ox, and bull. It is associated with our adrenal glands. And these adrenal glands are hormones that help to regulate our metabolism, our immune system, our blood pressure, ultimately our response to stress. And how ironic that with the nervous system, we are keeping ourselves out of the sympathetic nervous system, which is our freeze, fight, flight, and fawn response, and move into our parasympathetic, which is our peace, rest, and digest state. It's also associated with legs, feet, bones, and our large intestines. Now, think about the legs. The sciatic runs through the legs. It's the largest peripheral nerve, and it functions like a root for the nervous system. Again, another dance between the two. And we think about our feet, it goes back to grounding, right? That's another thing associated with the root chakra. It's the grounding, protecting the body from being overstimulated or overloaded. We ground our body. We put our feet to the ground, to the earth, to connect, to create safety within our bodies. Are you seeing the correlations here? The large intestines are sometimes considered the second brain. Some may argue the first brain. Before we had cognitive, like thinking abilities, we were able to know that we're hungry, we need food. Or have you heard the expression, I had a gut feeling? Some signs and astrologies have, I'm a Virgo, so I am stomach issued heavy. Like our intuition can run in our stomachs and our large intestines. So at the end of the day, this root chakra is like the longest wavelength and at the slowest vibration in like the invisible spectrum. Because, we have our auric fields, right? Everything vibrates in this world. Everything has different frequencies. Now, one of the other things with the root chakra, the opposite, the demon, they call it, is fear. So if you don't have your safety and your survival, it will translate into having a fear because your needs aren't being met, which is why it's so important that we create safety within the body. So our consciousness is kind of dominated by creating more safety. We need to survive. And when people are in constant survival, they're sympathetic, they're fight or flight, freeze, fawn response. It kind of keeps them looping through these toxic patterns. So say if you're moving a lot, you're always having to create a new foundation. There's always an uprooting. There's no way to create roots, right? Even within self, because you're constantly thinking about what's next. How am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? Whatever those needs may be. And that stifles our growth and kicks us into the our sympathetic nervous system, which if we stay in these cycles perpetually, it leads to chronic illnesses and dis-ease in the body, which leads us to diseases. So we're then plagued by like health issues and finances, because remember, the root is governing the earth, solid, tangible things. And then our consciousness kind of stays trapped in these loops, and we can't even move up through the higher chakra system to live in our highest alignment, live in our magic. So it's really important that we self-nurture, right? Again, creating safety in the body, home within ourselves. One of these ways is resting when we need it. Because the thing is, our body is going to take it, going back to the baby, going back to the beginning of us newborn, needing those foundational needs met, having those foundational needs met. The baby is going to cry when it's hungry, when it's tired, when it's wet, when it needs to be, whatever. It doesn't go off a schedule. Our bodies need to be nurtured and taken care of, right? We need to listen, because if we don't listen, it's going to take its rest. And remember, because it's governing our adrenal glands and our hormone responses, our heart rates, our blood pressure, it's going to cause all this dis-ease in our bodies, and we're wondering why we can't focus, and we wonder why everything upsets our stomach, and we wonder why we can't sleep, and we wonder why, because our systems, our nervous system at its base, at its core, at its root, isn't comforted, isn't safe, isn't able to rest and replenish and restore the way it needs to be. So some ways we can do this and to help our body rest is massages, pleasant exercises. And I thought this was so interesting that they use the word pleasant, because truly, when you're excited about a workout, and I don't know if excited is the right word, but if you like what you do, like if you look forward to your morning walks, that's exercise. Or you look forward to your Pilates class or your running club or whatever it is, find something to keep the body moving and engaged, and something that is going to help, again, create more safety in the body. Grounding, of course. Another element associated with the root chakra is food, meats in particular, or proteins is what is so associated with the root chakra. It also has 4 petals. So if you look at the different symbols associated with the chakras, you'll see that the lotus has different petals. This one has 4. And it's to represent the different directions on this earth, right? Like north, east, south, west, essentially. So we're going to walk through a exercise for the body dealing with the root chakra, the Muladhara. And I want you to go through the body part. So I want you to get a piece of paper and label it head, neck, torso, shoulders, arms, hands, chest, back, stomach, legs, and feet. And I'll have this all written down in the description. Head, neck, torso, shoulders, arms, hands, chest, back, stomach, legs, and feet. And I want you to associate each part with a word, starting with I am or I feel. So say if it's the neck and you say, how would the neck describe itself? I feel stiff, or I feel pain, or I feel smoothness, or I feel ease, or I feel tightness, or I feel, or I am, whatever that may be. I want you to write it down for each part, each body part. Now, after you've wrote down I feel or I am for each of the body parts, I want you to pause this and come back for part 2. Now, I want you to read back each of these sentences without the body parts. Just I am stiff, I am this, I am. And I want you to see what are the words that you use to describe yourself. Because ultimately, these are little indicators, seeds of how you're feeling in your body. And then we're going to use the practices of grounding, of massages, of exercising, of breath work to move through these elements, these emotions, these feelings, so that you can create more safety, more clarity, more ease, and more grounding within the body. It's very interesting. I want to hear how yours turned out. How did you feel about yourself? What were the words that you used? Drop them in the comment. So with chakra number 1, the root chakra, and how it correlates with the nervous system, it's about grounding into the body, being the body, creating safety within the body. Get the feet, the legs out into nature, connect to the earth, which is also associated with the root, to create more safety, to feel more calm, and to know that when your needs are met, your root chakra can spin at its right frequency to create more alignment, to create the foundation to build upon the rest of the chakras. I will see you next week for chakra 2.